Hello, it is update time once again. So you will recall in the last video that the doctor had said that there was bacterial inflammation of the vocal cords. Um, that was not the the root cause of the problem. Yet again, sometimes the easiest answer to something turns out to be the right one. You may recall that about 4 years ago, I began to develop vocal nodules in the early stages due to my acid reflux. I got put on a regimened treatment for that. I removed caffeine from my diet, which was the big cause. And for about 3.5 years, that regimen worked. So when things started to go wrong last summer, there wasn't really any reason to suspect that that was one of the issues, the acid reflux, because the regimen had worked for 3.5 years. It was something that I, of course, considered, but it was something that was also kind of shoved aside because it didn't make any sense. Well, that was it. This whole time, it's been acid reflux. The whole time. The regimen stopped working because at some point over the summer, for a variety of reasons that I have a lot of theories about, it something triggered it to get worse. The theories I have around that, let's just address an elephant in the room. I'm aware that I look a little different than I used to in my videos. I think it should be obvious that I had a major eating disorder for like 2021, a lot of 2021 and 2022, which is why I was very thin. Earlier this year, I finally got the treatment for that, which is why I look healthier. But with that came a change in eating habits. So eating normally and eating more may have caused a change in the stomach acid balance. It certainly, the timeline matches up. I went through a period of really immense stress and anxiety. Anxiety can certainly worsen acid reflux. Stress can do that to you, so that's a possibility as well. Could have been any number of things, but those are two things that may very well have been the case. I discussed it with my doctor, and he said those are possibilities. So I've just been experiencing a bunch of acid reflux over the last several months, which is what's been causing the loss in vocal range. It's what's been causing the hoarseness, the inconsistencies, all of that. We determined this at a follow-up appointment when I had finished an antibiotic and it looked like things had been cleared up, but the vocal inflammation was still there, and it was determined by the type of vocal inflammation that it looked like reflux was the answer. So I got put on a new regimen. I have a new acid reflux medication that I take at nighttime, and the doctor had me start using Gaviscon chewable tablets throughout the day before and after meals. And wouldn't you know it, in the early part of January, improvement. It became very obvious that this was what had been wrong and that it was finally getting fixed. Vocal resonance started to come back, vocal range started to come back, consistency. It was amazing. I was very pleased. Now, at the beginning of the year, I started to develop this very weird, very like chesty cough. I call it weird because it didn't coincide with an illness or anything. I just started to have this very like thick bronchial sort of a cough that it never went away. It just started near the beginning of January and it's just been there ever since. It didn't affect my singing voice, however, so I don't know. I kind of ignored it. So things are going great with the singing voice. And then one morning I'm singing on the way to work. I haven't been able to sing early in the morning in months, but I was singing early in the morning and things were great. I was like, I think we might be back. The middle of that day, I started having a sinus issue and progress started to move backwards again. And then 2 days later, I got struck with COVID, which developed into a far worse sinus issue, which stuck around even after the COVID went away and put a stop to any and all forward progress with my singing voice. I should mention that that cough had stuck around as well. I can't really remember if it got much worse after COVID, but it was still this very intense, very heavy cough. So earlier this week, I went to an urgent care center for an unrelated issue I was having. But while I was there, I decided I would tell them about the sinus issue and this cough just to see if they could figure out what that might have been. The issue that I initially went there for ended up being sort of pushed aside in favor of my cough. They did a chest x-ray. They did blood work. They took 3 vials of blood. They did a test sample of something else. And the doctor comes back and he says, "You have pneumonia." I've had pneumonia for the better part of this year, and I had no idea, which is why I had this very intense, thick cough. He said that it could put me in the hospital, and so it's a good thing we caught it when we did. So I just spent the whole year being sick so far. So the progress we had seen from the new acid reflux treatment hasn't really had a chance to continue to work in light of these illnesses. So now, in order for things to start moving in the right direction again, we have to wait for the sinus issue to clear up. We have to wait for the pneumonia to clear up. I'm on an antibiotic to treat the pneumonia, which also seems to be helping the sinuses, thank God. But yeah, it's one roadblock after another. And that's not even all the shit I've been dealing with. Towards the end of last year, I went into the negatives in my checking account and discovered that I had spent way too much on my credit card that I have no ability to pay off with my finances and income being what they are. While trying to counteract that, my car broke down and I took it to 2 repair shops, paid about $900 across 2 repair shops. They couldn't fix it, had to take it to a dealership. All the while I was waiting to take it to a dealership, I had to pay for a rental car. Rental cars are obviously expensive. I don't have the money for a rental car, but I have to have a car. So by the end of this, I'll have spent about $2,000, if not more, on the rental car. And we don't know if my actual vehicle can be repaired. So that's not even putting into account what I'll have to spend to get the car repaired. Things just kind of suck. And like, yeah, I don't have it as bad as some people, but still, it's just been one thing after another, and it's getting old. It's getting really old. So, yeah, that's what I've been dealing with. Just being sick and constant attempts by the universe to ruin me financially. Anyway, I still haven't gotten to do anything back with the band yet. I almost did something with them in January, but we had a snowstorm and they're not doing anything this month. I wouldn't have been able to do anything anyway because then the pneumonia took over and the COVID took over and that stopped any progress that was being made towards getting me back with the band. It's just been a lot of annoying shit this year. Not the best start to the year, so let's hope things get better, but that's where I've been. I really want to get back to recording things. I recorded the Beach Boys song. I got another one coming. I may have already posted it. But yeah, we'll see what happens. Anyway, thank you guys for sticking around. I hope to be able to start posting and recording more stuff soon. And until then, keep you guys posted if there's any other major changes. Thank you.